I have never seen an anti-capitalist message so anti-capitalist. Like, we all kid about Star Trek being fully automated luxury space communism, but this episode isn't really a surprise. I wasn't surprised to see Kira and Pulaski and the EMH at the heart of this. I mean, Kira is one beret away from being Che Guevara, and the Bajoran resistance always lacked any challenging ideology in favor of US viewers and staying on side. I mean, if Kira was an outspoken communist, it's not like Star Trek viewers would have excused the supremacist, mass-murdering Cardassian occupation. Right? Right? Anyway, so having her front and center for the story where... How do I explain this? The Aurelians produce Bergosite, and the Federation needs denickeled Bergosite, which the Aurelians promised, but didn't deliver in the teaser. I mean, in most cases, the Enterprise would just file for a refund with Amazon, but I guess they really need the Bergosite without nickel. So they have to email the Aurelians, and then have to go back to the Aurelian planet, because the Aurelians cannot denickel their Bergosite. You're like, all you do is Bergosite. That's all you do. You are the galaxy's preeminent Bergosite guys. Why can't you denickel it? And Kirk and Kira's team all share this bewilderment. Wesley assures us it's a simple process done during Bergosite creation, so all they have to do is change the process of creating Bergosite just a tiny little bit. We eventually end up with Kira and Pulaski and the EMH in a marketing office and performing some borderline defenestration because the compromise the Aurelians eventually propose is... a marketing campaign for the fully nickelinated Bergosite, which is useless to the Federation, as denickelinated Bergosite. It is Star Trek at its most Kafkaesque, like that point in the entire road up to that point. The secret of this particular alien society is that the Aurelians base their society on Bergosite. It keeps them young. It keeps them buzzed. It keeps them emotionally balanced. It is a wonder drug, and they use it as a currency. Their society exists first to make Bergosite and second to serve its people. It is not designed to do anything else, and no one is prepared to disrupt a system built 10 generations ago for fear of having less Bergosite personally. I mean, except one guy, of course, who left society, of course, and who shows us the non-Bergosite minority that's been a cultural boogeyman for the Aurelians this whole time. And the episode coasts on this point, but it's a bit cathartic as we see the beautiful culture of real living with suffering and death and disease held alongside beautiful art, theater, and human connections. And that's utterly absent from the Bergosite side of Aurelian society, even though you don't really notice it at first, because you think, oh, it's just another alien society, but they're all kind of dicks, and they're naturally ascetic. And it's like, well, no, they're human in the same way all Star Trek aliens are human, but they've decided to have the Bergosite, and they call that buzz they get the comfort, which I think in terms of naming conventions is a little on the nose. But for the people this is aimed at, maybe you have to be a little more on the nose than usual. But the B-plot with Geordi, Data, and Wesley, I think that's notable for just having a good three-way interaction of logical, intuitive, and common sense / I read the manual. I'm beginning to think, oh, the visor is going to be Geordi's catchphrase in Enterprise 1. I feel like whoever's kind of doing the Geordi bits maybe saw a lot of Avatar: The Last Airbender and decided, yes, the way they handled Toph's blindness is how we want to handle Geordi's visor. And they're doing research side to kind of fill us in on the gaps to kind of have character moments that lead us to the exposition we need whenever we get to the marketing office. It's just there for character stuff. They could have learned this by reading a newspaper. Kira and Pulaski and the EMH. We don't. We want to do stuff with Geordi and Wesley and Data, and I think that's fantastic. I support it fully. Overall, it's a focused episode that doesn't point at capitalism directly enough, but balances its story with its character work. I'm always a bit exhausted when our story goes back to specifically dunk on characters who are obstacles because it's their job or they have a good reason. But Baljad Kober, played by a discount David Warner, isn't just doing his job or worried about good reasons, though. He is a dick and a xenophobe, and he needed to get dunked into the hardwood, which is what Pulaski at her most cathartic meanness does. And that little bit of catharsis is enough to bring the episode from below par to mediocre to actually kind of good.